is the world's largest international youth-run organization which functions with the objective of developing youth with their leadership abilities. We have been providing leadership activities as well as international internships and volunteering experiences for global youth. What is AIESEC in University of Sri Jayawardenepura? AIESEC in University of Sri Jayawardenepura has been giving opportunities for graduate youth to empower their skills and talents for a long time. We have been enhancing our local committee by providing high-quality experiences and services to our members and exchange participants. What is our...
Mary Cook said that creativity is inventing, experimenting, growing, taking risks, breaking rules, making mistakes, and having fun. We welcome you all for the third session in Creative Circuit 3.0. The creative industry has been expanded in various ways. Animations is something that we cannot forget when it comes to creative industry. Without any delay, let's welcome our guest speakers. They are well-known animators in Sri Lanka. Let me warmly welcome Mr. Randy Chriz, the visual director, animator, and co-founder of Meraki United, and Ms.Portia Ratnayake, the co-founder and talent manager of Meraki United. So they are here to talk about the animation industry. Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Hope you are doing well.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
So let's move on to our session. To start with, tell us little about you both and Meraki United.
Okay, I'll start with myself. I'm Randy Chris. So when I was young, also I was really into creative expression and how stories are told, even in cartoons and even in various comic books. Even I was interested in that and creating them myself. So I'm a content creator maybe, and I'm a director, and I'm a visual artist. And we worked 18 years in the industry, so we have gone on our own journey for at least 5 years. That would be Meraki United. So
Yeah, so I am professionally a communication specialist and psychologist, etc. But what we found in Meraki United, and when I was working, Randy and I have worked together for a long time. We have been hired together in companies. So we worked in a similar space in the creative. So I was into the writing and communications and marketing side, and he was into the graphics and visual side. So our jobs and our professional skills kind of correlated. So that's where we found a common ground to do the work that we do as Meraki United, and past the experience that we collectively have. We thought we initiated our journey as a solo venture in 2017, Randy, and in 2018 I joined him, and late in 2018 we established Meraki United as the production company that it is now. And the name also tells what it is. Meraki is working from soul, like putting a part of your soul into your work.
It's a Greek word, right?
Yeah, it's derived of a Greek word, and it's used a lot contextually. And United is, we thought initially when we set out, we realized that a lot of the creatives in Sri Lanka are mostly in their own corners, either employed or freelance. They are doing their own work alone. And we felt that if we got together with the talent that we had inside the country, we would be able to do something bigger and more in international standards, because then we have a collective energy and the funds and the time that we cannot otherwise allocate, we will be able to do if we united. So that's why the name Meraki United came to be. And our goal since then was to work with as many people, as many creatives as possible, connecting many avenues of creativity. So initially, obviously, when we say a creative studio or a production studio, the majority of the studios in Sri Lanka would work commercially, because in the advertising industry, because that is the more commercially viable industry in Sri Lanka, because the entertainment industry is not very, it is commercialized, but the budgets and the ability to spend, or the return of investment inside the entertainment industry is very low. So there is no real gain for a production company to work entirely on entertainment, which is why advertising has been a common choice for most production houses. And the two of us have been in advertising ourselves in many verticals of advertising. So we kind of took the challenge, with our intention to work with these collective creatives around the country and find something to do together that would mean more. The whole is worth more than the individual items that contribute to it. In that understanding, we felt that we wanted to do something bigger. And we have collaborated with a lot of artists, with singers, with sculptors, with painters, like traditional pen on paper kind of painters, and everyone we found that had some kind of talent that we can work with. We reached out and we worked with them. So that has been how our journey evolved as Meraki. And right now, we are mostly obviously known for the animation. But if we actually dig deep to the portfolio of Meraki, it covers the whole spectrum of other artists and their collaborations as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are truly amazed by your story and what came you through. So my first question is for you, Randy. So how would you explain your professional journey and your breakthrough into the professional market?
Yeah, that's a good question. And so I would like to say, when I was young, there was no internet, and all the education, all the things that we could have learned online, we didn't have a source like that. So I started off just drawing on sketchbooks and working on PowerPoint, doing little animations over there. And because I had the passion in me to actually make stories and make animations and tell my own story. So that passion was there. So even after O levels, A levels, there still wasn't a proper avenue for me to follow that passion. So what I ended up doing was just working on several different jobs. The first job that I did was in Sirsa MTV TV channel. They are in the production department. So there I was actually library assistant and data entry operator. So those are like really not relevant to what I did, but still I involved myself because it's a TV channel. So there I collaborated and got to know all the producers who are working there, and the graphic division. I went and talked to them, how they do things. Even though I'm not much of a, I kind of an introvert. But I try my best to like really approach them and see what's going on, and try to collaborate with the SFM and all these kinds of divisions to give out my artistic capability and collaborate with them. So from then there I worked for like 3 years. Then they saw something I drew. Actually, Tilanga Sumatipala had come to an interview, and he had seen this, and he and even Sean was there. Somehow they got me to the MTV news first. There I worked for another 3 years, that's where I really got the hang of drawing on the mouse pad, the mouse tablet, the pen. And it took like one month for me to get the hang of it. And so there again, I requested for an official, teaching me how the graphic stuff are done, but they didn't have any resources like that. So I had to educate myself. Luckily, we had the internet then and there, so it was a tough gig as well, because I had to from scratch, I had to learn the softwares that I'm working with right now. That's like Photoshop and After Effects. So after working in news, then I moved on to another job, which was now Daras.lk. It was back in the day, it was wow, and anything. So that was Sri Lanka's first e-commerce platform, and it had I had a lot of learning there, because it was a startup, and as I'm working with entrepreneurs and multi talented people. So there, just before that, I met Posh. So she pushed me to come there. So after working, I think 2 years there, then I was like really getting the whole hang of drawing digitally, and posting stuff online, and doing proper commercial advertisement videos. So there, then after that, I worked at a advertising agency, and a music video making uh, company, which
in America. Yeah, it
which
was an
is a-
American company outsourcing that the video part to him in Sri Lanka.
that branch was in Sri Lanka. So after all that experience, I think I had enough of confidence to really go on my own, on our own. So that's where I took the leap, took the plunge, and we went on our own way, on our own journey, and made Meraki United. So from there onwards, like you said on the question, how we broke into the international market, it was, I had international exposure in little windows, like little glimpses. I did a couple of international music videos for several artists. Also, anyway, I was doing these music videos on the place I worked at, so they were really impressed with that stuff also. But as soon as we went solo, one of the main things I did was, like, it was a plunge, and it's kind of a calculated risk. So I this song by Eminem called "Believe" really resonated with me. So I made a lyric video and put all my effort into that, and that kind of took off. And the only thing is, like, they kind of stole the content from me, and they uploaded in their own,
They, in the sense,
as in
other
other content creators.
yeah.
So that kind of went viral. But after that, we kept on doing other projects internationally and locally. And in 2020 only, I had a little bit of a free time to really do something that really took all of my potential into. So that was the music video Godzilla, Eminem's one of the Eminem's latest tracks back then. So that's the project that took us international, because I just tapped, it was perfect timing, because they were really
talking about
that track.
song a lot.
Yeah, so that's the way that we went international. And as soon as we did go international, they saw the portfolio, the body of work that we had been working on. So that's the foundation in itself. Just because you go international, you still have to have a body of work that really shows what you are capable of. So we were lucky to have had that body of work, like all the things we did before that. So that they can see their journey. And so that's how we made it to the international market. And
Yeah, it's a truly insightful and informative session for our delegates who are willing to join into creative industry. So how have you seen the local digital art and animation industry evolve through the years?
You want to take it?
That's an interesting question. The local digital art and animation industry now. I was in production and I was working with a lot of designers and developers in the coding aspect, web developers also. So there was the digital art scene was not huge initially in the early 2010, 2011, 12-ish. It was the digital aspect of design was limited to graphic design. So that's what people understood. So you are a graphic designer. That was the designation. There was no designation as creative designer or for the digital artist. That wasn't very common those days. So graphic design was what they did, but most of these graphic designers were able to draw. That was I wouldn't say most, but some of them were able to draw, and that gradually with the introduction of the tab and that the pen tablet that we use, and that being more available and more affordable, eventually the ones who drew on paper would then slowly transition into digital art. So these graphic designers who initially graphic design was limited to making a post, making a layout in a magazine, an advert or something like that. Very little drawing. It was either photo manipulation or edits or things like that.
But there were people who drew like to the papers and stuff. Those cartoons.
So those are not digital.
I know.
Yeah.
But those were colored in the computer, so it's kind of digital. But yeah.
So what happened was they would draw on paper, then transition the photo of the paper onto the digital side, and then color. So then you remember we would have paint, and so those kind of very early coloring softwares, etc. So drawing on paint itself was difficult because there was no pen at that time. So Randy, for example, would draw with the mouse, and I know several young artists who would draw with the mouse. That's a skill that needs developing, and it's not easy. So that was where they would try to do things that out of pure passion to draw on the computer. They would just work on those things with limited tools and software. So that when the pen tablet was introduced, it was much easier for people who could draw to start attempting to draw and create their visuals in terms of these drawings instead of just downloading or whatever with the pictures. And it was more than graphic design after that point, when you could draw and incorporate your drawings into something. And then of course the animation aspect was parallelly going through the 3D, the animation. The 3D aspect was definitely getting popular with the gaming connection to gaming and all that, because in Sri Lanka specifically,